Dear Caroline, I felt you. I felt your pain. I felt your anger. I felt your vulnerability. I felt your frustration. I felt the energy. I felt all the emotions. I felt everything. You know, given the fact that you said that Linda Ikeji's blog carried you when you got married to Danjuma, said that you lied about your age, said that Danjuma, your ex-husband, isn't the father of your baby, and your baby girl whom you had, and she had challenges, you know, because she had 2 holes in the heart. I wonder what you must have gone through. You're really indeed a strong lady, honestly. I could really, really relate with all the emotions you showed us. I really, really, really could relate with them. And yeah, I just want to say for now, I think you're my favorite cast. Okay guys, so this is the review on The Real Housewives of Lagos, season 1, episode 2 and episode 3. Now last week I didn't cover the episode 2 because I felt it wasn't really conclusive, so I waited for episode 3 so that I could merge them together, right? So episode 2, Iyabo actually offered to take the ladies for a getaway at the beach, and Laura had already told us that she wasn't gonna come because she wasn't feeling the vibe. The people that actually went for the beach getaway were Chioma, Tony, Caroline, and of course the host Iyabo. Now, Chioma and Caroline were a little bit skeptical, but at the end of the day, they were wowed. Okay. The spilling of the juice starts. Let me drink tea first. Okay, so during the getaway, Iyabo Ojo actually introduced a game called The Land of No Return. That's where the kasala started, yeah? So the game is played in such a way that one person would whisper something into the ear of another person, and that person would call out a name, yeah? And when the person calls out some other person's name, then that person that is being called would try to guess what the question was. Now, if you get the answer, you won't drink. If you fail, you would drink, right? So let's say you got the answer, then fine. But if you don't get the answer, you would drink, and then they would tell you what the question was, right? So it's really very childish if you ask me. But the very childish, or the most childish aspect of it is they actually said that the game would involve even those that were not there. And by that, they mean Laura. So most of the things that they discussed about, you know, was kind of like about Laura. Not necessarily all, but, you know, I think they mentioned Laura's name quite a few. But, you know, for me, why I feel is a little bit antagonistic is if it's really for all of them that are the Real Housewives of Lagos participants or casts, why didn't they actually say anything about Miriam? You see what I mean? I mean, the argument would be, okay, but they've not met Miriam yet, so okay, yeah, that's why. But anyway, the point is, they really wanted to infuse a little bit of drama, and they got the drama because you know why? After the beach, that's the beach getaway, Tony actually told Laura, because Tony and Laura are good friends. And then another thing I'm beginning to notice is they're kind of pairing up, right? Chioma and Caroline are becoming BFFs, right? Tony actually told Laura what was said and some of the things that Carol said about her and all that. And when they got back, Iyabo requested to have more like a girls' outing with Laura. So Laura said she wanted to get Iyabo on her side because she's realized that all the ladies don't like her. Now, why don't they like her? Let's take us back to season 1, episode 1. She came for Tony's baby's product launch, and she was a little bit bitchy. She wasn't really interacting as much as she should. Tony asked her why, because she's naturally a bubbly person, even on her Instagram and all that. So how come you, Laura, the bubbly person, all of a sudden you were a little bit distant? And she says she wasn't feeling the energy of the ladies there, and she was particularly hot when Chioma said she wasn't her friend, rather she was just a good customer for the hair, for the good hair. So she kind of felt, you know, these girls are just fake, I don't want to be here. And that was also why she didn't go for the beach getaway with them. So anyway, fast forward to she and Iyabo having like, a time out to kind of like get to know themselves. And she said to Iyabo, I respect you, I like you, I admire you, I follow you on Instagram and all that. I don't have issues with you. I have issues with Caroline and Chioma. And I didn't know they were coming for Tony's baby's product launch. If I knew, maybe my attitude would have been different. Maybe I would have actually kind of psychologically psyched myself up to be able to accommodate or whatever it is. But she claimed she didn't know. So that's why, it kind of put her off. On top of that, Chioma also said that they were not friends. And to her, they are friends. So why is Chioma forming, So as they were talking about it, she then told Iyabo that Tony had already told her all what was said at the beach behind her back, and that she's particularly pained about what Caroline said, and if she was there, she would have slapped Caroline. So first of all, Caroline actually organized a Bohemian theme event, and she invited the ladies. And surprisingly, Laura showed up. So we'll have Laura, we'll have Iyabo, we'll have Tony, we'll have Chioma, and of course the host Caroline. First of all, side note, I feel all the ladies actually dressed appropriately, except for Chioma a little bit. I felt she overdressed. I mean, I love the flower thing, going on, but, the dress was too serious for, because it's just a sit down on the floor kind of thing where you just eat and talk. She was too way over the top. Anyway, moving on. So, they started discussing. Now, wow, shall we are too much. So, as they were talking, trying to trash out, the kind of negative vibe or negative energy they all started off on, trying to, in my opinion, clear the air so that, they all could now be on the same page. And Carol, or rather Laura, now realized that the discussion she had with Iyabo was shared with Chioma, or, Iyabo shared it with Chioma. Yes, she had issues with Chioma, one issue with Chioma, which was Chioma didn't acknowledge her as a friend, rather as a customer. That's it. But the main issue she had is with Caroline, because Tony had already told her that Caroline, during the game, said a lot of, unpleasant things about her. And that was why she said that if she was there, she would have slapped Caroline. Remember? So, surprisingly to her, Iyabo actually took everything she said without even kind of like painting it a little bit and said all those things to Chioma. So to her, she was wondering, okay, even if you felt you needed to share all I said to you, I mean, I had a private moment with you. I said some certain things that could be unpleasant. Of course, saying you're going to slap someone is a no-no, is unacceptable. But she felt, according to her, that Iyabo is mature. I mean, why carry that to tell them? I'm not even telling the main person that I said I was going to slap, rather a third party who clearly likes Caroline. Again, I'm talking about Chioma, who clearly likes Caroline and who probably might embellish him more when telling Caroline. Aren't you trying to actually start a war, whereas we are all trying to kind of like end the negative energy? That was what I understood Laura was trying to explain, right? And again, maturely of her, she apologized to Caroline. Somehow, when you're trying to explain your frustration, you would say some certain things that are not necessary. Again, I'm not trying to excuse pardon or say that saying you're going to slap someone is good. No, it's a no-no. So what I understood from Laura's perspective is that she actually was frustrated and was trying to, explain her frustration to Iyabo, given the fact that Tony had already told her what Caroline said about her that she didn't like. So she then said if she was there, she would have slapped her. Thinking that she was talking to someone that was mature, again, Iyabo. She didn't expect that Iyabo was going to take that literally and share. Not even now with Caroline, but sharing with Chioma. As a relationship enthusiast, there's so many aspects of this whole thing I want to bring to us. First of all, I talk about healthy relationship a lot. I personally would fault Iyabo. Yeah, I do not really understand what Iyabo's impact is or was in telling Chioma all those things she discussed with Laura without filtering them. When you have a conversation with someone, in my opinion, if you really want to make peace, if really the impact, for you is to make peace and make all of us be, cordial with each other, then you're supposed to actually sieve the things you share. Highlight the things that would help us move forward in the positive direction, as against literally saying everything. Because really, when Laura was asking her and saying, okay, yeah, but you told her all I discussed with you, I was expecting you to kind of sieve some of the things. Yabo said, I don't owe you loyalty. So you see, in my opinion, there's actually bad belly there. There's actually a bad impression there. There's actually someone that is angry with Laura, maybe because Laura turned down on her invitation for the beach getaway, or maybe because she also is angry with Linda KG, which she kind of transferred to Laura. And in all fairness, it's not fair for people to transfer anger they have with Linda to Laura. But although I understand when people do that, because you can't control the consequences of an action, you know what I mean? And remember also, Linda KG is actually not writing for a particular person. Most times when she writes about your husband, your father, your children, or whatever. I mean, people will say that is the job of a blogger. So if it's the job of a blogger, we are supposed to understand that you're not taking it personally, you're just doing your job. That way, don't really take it personally if you're a family member of that blogger when people come for you. You know what I mean? So it's it goes both ways. However, the point I'm trying to make here is, given the fact that I'm always preaching healthy relationship, I don't think there was anything healthy about Iyabo literally carrying everything she discussed with Laurel and share with Chioma. You didn't act mature in that sense. You really were trying to ignite fire that you guys were trying to quench. That's my point. And again, you were ready for any attack. When she said to you told her, they said, yes, I told her. She now said, I thought you were still, I'm not saying you shouldn't tell her, but I thought you were going to kind of like, sieve. And she said, I don't owe you loyalty to sieve. No, guys, that is not how to form a healthy relationship. And also for Laura, trying to shush people from talking about your family or complaining or sharing their disappointment with you about your sister or her blog is something I consider very conceding of you. She didn't come off to insult your sister. I have sisters as well, and I wouldn't take it if somebody comes to say, your sister is a bitch, right? No, I wouldn't listen to you. But if the person comes nicely to say, Uju, I'm really not happy with what your sister wrote about me, I would ask you, what did she write about you? And then you could now spell it out. She wrote this, I reached out, she didn't answer. She wrote that, I reached out. I would say, okay, I don't know the full story. I can understand how angry this makes you feel. For that, I apologize. I will, get back to my sister, discuss with her, and probably get back to you. Is that okay? That is how to maturely handle relationship discussion. Girls, don't talk about my sister. This bitch thing that we ladies actually try to bring out from our closet every now and then. Sometimes we forget that all of us are created in the image and likeness of bitch. So you are a bitch, I'm a bitch, she's a bitch. They are bitches. We all have that. So, and then what does it really profit us for us to actually act like that? You don't need to bring out that bitchy thing because you think you got it. The next girl has it as well. And you don't even know if hers is worse than yours. So if someone comes out broken, vulnerable, almost in tears, shaking because she's angry, yet not being insultive, listen. Don't shush her and say, don't talk about my sister. This is a lady that is complaining your sister wrote about her, and her daughter, whom had 2 holes in the heart when she had her. So your sister also talked about the fact that, Danjuma, her ex-husband, wasn't the father of her baby. All those things she claimed led to her divorce. Girl, I feel, Laura, that what you should have done was to listen. You saying, don't talk about my sister, I think is inappropriate. Yes, towards the end, when Iyabo and Tony were now saying, I had issues with Linda myself. And Laura now said, why are we talking about Linda? Now I get that point, because now it is beyond what we are discussing. We are not here to talk about Linda Cage, right? But Carol had issues with you. She was trying to tell you the origin of that issue. And she was trying to tell you that she reached out to your sister multiple times to tell your sister the real truth, or rather, her own side of the story that your sister had already carried, which actually is causing a huge problem in her marriage as at the time, according to her. But your sister never responded. So she's trying to tell you maybe the reason you guys started off on a wrong footing is because, or could be because, she had these resentments towards your sister, and by default she may have transferred them to you. Listen, that is communication. That is relationship communication. Listen, so you could understand, because you can only act right when you understand. If you don't understand, you won't act right. But no, you didn't want to listen. But now, Carol wasn't piping down. So she had to actually raise her voice, shout, become very sentimental, very emotional, very vulnerable, very angry. That was when you could now listen, and maybe to an extent, you could really relate to the fact that, okay, as a mom, I can understand this, and it's her moment, and I'm going to let her have it. However, Carol also still said that she felt you were not in any way sympathetic or understanding, because when she talked about her daughter and the hole in the heart and what she went through, every other lady there, you could see their facial expression. They were really very like, oh my God. But Carol said that your expression was just very flat. Like, I won't judge you on that. You know why? Because I'm not in your heart and I don't know what you were thinking. But yes, I saw the facial expression. It was flat. And if I'm to judge with, your facial expression, girl, like you said, you're a mother as well. I felt maybe that would have been the point you would have connected more, but you were more for protecting your sister because you think nobody can come for my family. Not when your family had done something bad. Again, that is not me saying Linda Ikeji did something bad or not. I'm just saying because she's a blogger, because she writes in her blog, whether she wrote it personally or not, she's hurt people. And unfortunately, one of the people she's hurt deeply is one of the cast members of a show that you're featuring in. And this lady is not able to compartmentalize these issues. She sees you somehow as Linda. And she maturely is coming to you, Laura, to say, maybe the reason I started off, wrongly with you is because I have these resentments about your sister. See why. Listen. And then respond in a mature way. That is relationship. That is maturity. That is healthy relationship. Except you don't want it to be healthy. Except what you want is the biz. We are here now. Shebi, that is our job. When there's biz, we will talk about the biz. Guys, my tea is finished. So I think the biz is going to stop here. It's going to end here. Anyway, on a final note, guys, I think we should, in every situation we find ourselves, ask ourselves, what would Jesus do? And by that, I mean, tackle things from a healthy part, from a healthy angle, from a healthy dimension. Don't always think that loving a family member is being blind to whatever they must have done. I'm not saying you should actually bring your sister in the forefront and kill her reputation. Neither am I saying you should come out and say to the people, yes, I know my sister can be too much. No. What I'm saying is someone is begging for you to listen to her, and she's not being disrespectful to your sister or you. Listen. It's normal for one to have grudges, against your sister, your spouse, your child, your husband, your dad, your mom. As far as the person comes in a respectful way, your job as a mature person is to listen, digest, respond by saying, I apologize if this makes you feel this way. However, I don't know the full extent of the story. I will get back to these people you complained about, or this person you complained about, and get back to you. That's it, chickena. That's maturity. Anyway, till next time, guys, remember to always hang in there. For the very best is next. See you. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.